What up, traders? What up, investors? Ken here from Dyslexic Investor, and thank you for coming out for another fantastic live stream. Of course, we're going to be looking at quite a few stocks. We can talk about Tesla, the crazy moves that we saw on Friday, which was absolutely quite insane to see, and I honestly almost pooped my pants when I saw some of the moves there. Yeah, it was pretty insane to see that amount of volume. I'm still trying to break down some volumes and kind of gauging on what exactly happened. Like, okay, we know what happened on the chart. We know that a lot of people were buying it, but just to kind of like to really put it into a understanding of like, hey, we talked like I knew it was going to be a little bit of a wild ride between 3 or 4 for Tesla over the last hour of Friday's trading. I didn't know it was going to be that crazy. Let's be honest. I'm going to be straight up honest with you. I had no idea that it was going to be that amount of price movement in the stock just like that. Because again, it was like got down to like 620 and then ran up the way to 695, almost $700 in like 15 minutes. Like it was just completely insane. Yeah. Alan, what's up, my friend? I was told that this is the place to come to get rich, and you have to buy the Sunday stock. Yeah. If you just write down all the tickers and you just put in $1,000 in each and just come back in a week, you'll be a millionaire. That's what I was told too, Alan. Raman, you are in Virginia? Yes, I'm in Virginia. The ice, what part of Virginia? I live in, it's like 43 miles outside of DC. It's called like Leesburg. It's near the Dulles Airport. You sold all your shares, Alan, on for Tesla? I'm hopefully at the higher level. At least 690 above. Because that thing was just absolutely insane. I'm like looking at the Bitcoin chart right now, kind of like chomping on my lips, getting a little interested on this action here, potentially seeing it run up to $26,000. Yeah. Oh, you live in Manassas? Okay, let's just write down 66. So I'm probably, you just have to go up 28 for a little bit. How long have you lived in Manassas? Because I lived in Fairfax for a little over almost 2 years. Let's see here. All right, we're starting out with Lulu. So I was kind of strange too that Nike reported after Friday's close, which was strange here as well. But with Lulu, kind of getting that same kind of bounce around here. This had a weird quarter, came back hard, hit off that 50 SMA here. That's that little red dotted line here. Bounced off super hard, did a complete V-shaped bottom here, and just kind of ripped here. Potentially looking for some short-term support around 375, potentially even down to around 362 to 356. But the next, if it wants this trend to continue between the 5 and 8 moving averages, we can definitely potentially see this try to test $400. Oh, you've been in Manassas for 6 months? Nice. Tanner says, Ken, do you ever track the statistics on the patterns you've seen? No, I keep a log on like what trades I do and why I did it, but not the particular pattern. Like mostly the patterns that I like to follow are a bounce or in a buy zone between the 21 to 34 EMA. So they're kind of always the same. It just kind of, I guess I could start doing potentially figuring out statistics on certain charts that stay in that zone longer, might get a pop longer. I don't know. Like that's gonna be a little bit more difficult to do. But again, if they have an app that does that, would be fantastic. That really just kind of breaks down on basically using AI or something like that, just kind of okay, you bought here, bought this. We're seeing patterns that you like to buy at these levels, da da da, or you can kind of program it. I'm sure there's a way to do that for sure, but that's way above my head. Roland One says, "What's up, my friend?" FSR. Is that is that Fisker, or is that a solar one? Okay, this is Fisker. Okay, so this thing went live now, so it's no longer the SPAC, right? It's completely the things, the sale. Yeah, this one looks interesting. Again, these EV plays are a dime a dozen as they seem, especially with the SPACs ones that just really just been continuously rolling out here. Again, I'm pretty sure you know that Fisker was publicly traded before or was a company, but then they're restructuring. For me, this chart looks okay. Like it hit off that 1550, but it's trying to break back above that $16.67. If we do get a move above that, we start seeing the 5 and 8 moving averages cross to the 21 EMA. We could potentially see and break above 1667 to potentially test like the 1880-ish level. But that is definitely something to keep in mind, since we do also have the falling parabolic SAR dots as well to potentially suppress this if it does try to break out. So be mindful of that. Again, short dated support is going to be coming around 1550. That kind of falls in right around 1468, which is around that 50-day SMA there line as well. Lemonade is also, if you can check out this one, I can see it around 89 to 87 support. Yeah, that one is an interesting chart to say the least. When it broke out, like again, it's at its all-time high in this zone here. What we're seeing here, this is definitely moving to potentially touch and break above 110 here. If it breaks above 110, which again, you do see these parabolic SAR dots to potentially break out, and you said 87. Yeah, so I would probably, if you want to be looking for stronger support, you're going to be looking for around 85 to 86. But short dated support is going to be coming around $96. This thing is somewhat attuned to having pretty drastic moves, as you can see in a given day. It can really fluctuate because it went from basically 111 down to 86 and then bounced right back up to 100. So that you have to have a pretty strong saddle and a big set of cojones to hold on moves like that. So it's not really my cup of tea or my cup of coffee or my kind of Danish, but this is a very interesting chart pattern. I can see this, as you can see I have an alert here at basically its all-time high. If it does break above that, we can potentially see it run up to 128 to 130. And I think, especially with these newer IPOs, it has 2 quarters out already, and I think it definitely could run, but these are going to be very hard to kind of judge because, again, it's only been 2 quarters. There has been a significant amount of volume pickup the last couple of weeks, but this could easily potentially just kind of trade sideways and just linger around to kind of see on what could happen next. I made enough to cover just about my margin. Good time selling my Tesla. Okay, I know what you're saying, my friend. Rama, can we look at SDC? Is that SmileDirectClub? Interesting chart. I'm pretty sure you can see that it's just kind of like just bouncing around here. So we're seeing it kind of potentially really just try to break out here multiple times above 13. Yeah, so yeah, $12. If you want to be completely exact, it's gonna be $12.99. So just basically, if it's been trying to break above 13 multiple times here, we do have a squeeze set in place. The volume zone and the RSI are looking fairly strong here. If we do get a break in the short term above 1250-ish, again, where those parabolic SAR dots are, we could get enough oomph, enough steam, enough energy, enough whatever jolt to get above that $13 level, but that's going to be a very key level because we've seen it hit once, twice now and failed. Third time could be a charm, but to be definitely very careful with this one. Again, it's been very much in a range between that $13 to around $10 range. It's kind of been bouncing around like a ping pong, kind of in purgatory. So if it does finally close and break above 13, we definitely could see that potentially run with any kind of good news with the overall market. This really could take it substantially higher. SY says GHIV SPACs meeting on January 20th. We're going to discuss merger with United Wholesome Mortgage, the second largest mortgage. Yes, I did see that one. I actually own some shares of that one. I just threw a couple shekels in that pot to kind of see how it plays out. Again, it's a SPAC, so it's going to be a very just a $10, $11 range kind of thing. Long as it stays above like that 10.50, again, even coming down to 10.20, I'm still fine with it. Again, I don't even know where I bought the shares at. It's really just kind of see on what really happens. You're really just basically sitting in your hands waiting to see what happens. Carl says Walgreens. Oh shoot, what's the ticker for Walgreens again? Is it Wall? Let's see if it pulls it up. It's like W. There it is. Wall Boots Alliance. Yeah, this one's been, again, if you've watched the channel for a little bit, this has been just a terrible stock for the past couple months. But now with the vaccine, and they're going to be one of the providers, I believe, of it. And this has definitely been ramping up. They're restructuring things. It's kind of found somewhat of a bottom here, basically around $38.58. That $33 is going to be a little bit more on the extreme side, but we are seeing a kind of little bit of a kickback though. If you look here on the daily chart here, we have not really getting the significant of oomph, as I call it, enough of the push above the 200 EMA here to really see this one kind of potentially really get that strong notion and really get buying here. I do like it. It's still above the 21 EMA. The moving averages are kind of the shorter dated ones are kind of start curling over. If we start seeing the 5 and 8 cross to the 21 EMA and even the 34 EMA, got to be very careful on this one as well. We have some initial support going to be coming around $38, which we just talked about. And again, that kind of lines up with the parabolic SAR dots. And keep in mind, we have earnings coming out the first week of the new year. So be mindful of that. Definitely some key targets to look out for. As long as it stays above 38, I think some things could just be fine. But it's failed multiple times around that 44 to 43.50 range. So just be mindful of that, Carl. S says Tesla, please. Yep, Tesla. We can definitely cover Tesla. Like, again, I love me with some Tesla. Okay, so Tesla added to the S&P 500, it was added Friday, but basically it's going to be coming online on the S&P 500 tomorrow. With that being said, closing at all-time highs. Just a crazy day. This whole chart doesn't do any justice. This is a 15-minute chart. It dropped from like 675 all the way down to 628. Okay, in a matter of about like 30 minutes, right before the close. If you watched the video that I posted that day, we talked about, hey, this whole last hour of trading, it's going to be a wild ride. I was thinking maybe down to like 650, 647. No, like this is what comes into FOMO and just complete fear, and then just really I want to call market manipulation, but just too many people with too many happy trigger fingers or too many fearful trigger fingers, and are just shooting in the sky or shooting on the ground and just really not knowing what they're doing, and more of a freak out panic selling here that really just drove this price down. Because you can see, look at this volume. A lot of it was bought around this last time frame, because just look at that enormous amount of volume that really took that stock substantially higher there. So yeah. So looking here on the continuous trend here, I would love to see this. It's probably gonna, I don't know. tomorrow is going to be an interesting day to watch. I'm going to potentially this could hit $700 tomorrow and maybe bounce off of it, maybe hit 705 and then come right back down. It's going to be very strange to see this one because again, this is a very strange situation with such a high-flying name like Tesla. It's something to be very well mindful about and just get ready for a roller coaster ride. Initially looking for some support if it comes down to, in the short term, coming around 642, and then much stronger support around basically 593, and then even down to 557. So again, I'm a long-term investor in this stock. I've been for a while, so it's these swings are scary to watch. The P&L just swing up and down, but yeah, this is definitely one to be very, very careful out there because you can get your fingers inside the window jammed, or smash your hand in a steel door, or put your hand in the toaster trying to get your bagel out in the morning and you burn yourself. That's how Tesla could be. It just kind of surprises you sometimes. What are parabolic SAR dots? These are these little purple. They're basically these little like trend support. It should be a generic study within Thinkorswim, I believe. So that, yeah, they're parabolic SAR dots. So you can I just make them purple because I like the color purple. That is definitely what again. I'm wearing a purple shirt. That's kind of quink-a-dink there. Basically it just kind of helps the movement of a trend and telling you if the factor is the trend is moving up or down, or there could be potentially some consolidation, because you can kind of see this chart right here on Tesla right here. We've kind of the parabolic SAR dots were kind of flat, kind of creating somewhat of a potential breakout zone. And of course, the day that it broke out, it really ran. Like it's just one factor of many that can really help you understand a potential trend or breakout on the charts. Because again, I normally trade on the squeeze and volume, so these really help kind of gauge on those potential price points there. The real one says Google, they had a lawsuit case. Again, like, isn't Google always being sued because they just own everything and they can manipulate whatsoever and all that fun stuff going forth there? That sucks because we're having the 5 and 8 moving averages cross through the 21 EMA. That being said, that 1726 could be potential some short-dated support. I'm going to call some more support coming in around the 50-day, around 1690, but stronger support coming down to around 1650-ish range, and kind of see that kind of potentially bounce off that level. But again, with not knowledge of the full extent of the lawsuit and so forth, so I have to be very mindful and just, again, this does not look good, especially with the 5 and 8 cross through the 21 EMA. I really don't want to be touching this with a 10-foot pole right now. Okay, looks like, oh, Carl, thank you for the 99 cents. You're welcome. Thank you for, you didn't have to do that. I appreciate that. And Alan, thank you for the $5 again. Tattoo Chef, building a small position in this, is making the food for private label companies, Costco's, Walmart, etc. Yeah, Alan, I think, were you on the live stream where I talked about this, or in the Discord? So I actually was short, again, this is very strange. I was short this stock for a little bit. I was shorting it up here around like 23, 24, because I just saw this movement here. And I don't know if people know this. I am probably on the top tier. I'm not one to boast here, but I'm on the top tier of like Costco membership. Like, I love my Costco, and I go there all the time. So I know their inventory levels. I know how they stock things. The people know me there. Yeah, not try to boast, because I know some people get like name status at like a Ritz-Carlton and all the other fancy stuff. No. I'm known at the Costco. Anyways, joking aside, with that being said, this is interesting. I like it potentially breaking out. I know a lot of people have been talking about it. A lot of people have been posting videos on it. I've seen a lot on Twitter. I've seen it kind of come up on a lot of searches as well on trending, Alan. Initially, we can do a fib here because this was a SPAC, right? Yeah, this definitely was a SPAC. And looking at this, yeah, key level is going to be $24.60. If we can get that movement up to that, that could be the next overall resistance to the upside. We are seeing a lot of momentum coming in here with the squeeze, a lot of volume with the RSI and the volumes on oscillator really potentially, and is definitely a high movement stock here. Initially looking, if this can continue to run, it needs to really stay above that $21.43. So the reason why I was shorting it, Alan, I wanted to get to that, was because there's this one corner when I walk by in the frozen vegetables section, it was always packed. It was always packed. And so this is to give you some way of how my thought process works. Before, like when I was in Beyond Meat, trading Beyond Meat stock, Beyond Meat was really hard, was selling out quite a bit in the Costco's. But that being said, but now I'm seeing a lot more Beyond Meat available. Like it's not selling out anymore. And the same thing with Tattoo Chef. Like I've always seen their bags there. There was never like an empty box in the freezer section of Tattoo Chef. So that was my main reason behind it. Then I looked at the chart and I saw a squeeze in place and kind of like the 5 and 8 kind of bouncing around. So I shorted it. Took a couple shekels. I took it off like basically around like 20, right below 21 to $20. Could have ran it down a lot more, but I'm not a greedy pig. But that being said, there, yeah, definitely be very careful with this one. It has had some movement. Again, it does have in its DA to potentially to run, so we could see this potentially run up to that 24.60 level, even if it continues to run higher, even to that high level there. But there is a lot of new volume in the stocks that really could compel it to make it higher. So on that one. Okay, Bates, good evening. What do you think about seeing a Christmas rally? Futures seem to be weak despite Congress reaching a deal over $9 billion. Yeah, I think there's like too many things going on in the overall world in the sense of like people are freaking out about a new strand of the virus and bird flu is spotted in the UK. To is this going to be enough money? Like it's always the next thing with the S&P 5 with the stock market. They're like, okay, stimulus bill, okay, check. What's the next worry? What's the wall of worry that we're going to be looking at next? Is Trump going to leave the office? Okay, is this going to be something? Some war is going to happen over here in this little country? All these kind of things. Is this a worry bug? And we're just looking for the market is like, what's the next obstacle that could potentially derail the train? And some people really do look at that like a sense like that. I kind of look at it a little bit more optimistic, of like, hey, things will happen. Potentially, speaking of, if we just look at the S&P 500 and we just zoom out to a monthly chart, and I know Mr. Bear is going to cry when he sees this, if he's watching. It's been pretty nice uptrend, right? Again, hitting some key levels that on the S&P 500, that $371. So again, the futures are mixed. Again, I had the S&P 500 only down 5 points. Got the NASDAQ up just slightly, 30 points. The Russell's down 0.5%. So I wouldn't say anything's like selling off. It's not the a good luck, have fun kind of party, but it's definitely something to kind of keep in your back pocket because we have run quite a bit here in the last couple of weeks here. So with a rally being in sense, like usually this week into 2021, we'll see on volume picks up, but usually volume's fairly light, and we just kind of we might get some aggressive selling towards the end of the year when people try to do the tax loss harvesting kind of plays on some particular stocks that they lost money in. But this is definitely something to be very well aware of because, again, we've hit this level, kind of been bouncing around this level in the S&P 500 quite a few times. I think we're going to potentially break this. I know there are some more other economists or analysis or traders out there saying that we potentially couldn't get a sell-off in early 2021, which I have no idea when the next sell-off is going to happen. Like, I can't just tell you, like, oh, I think at 675 at 6:30 on a Friday, and 3 weeks from now, the market's going to sell off. Like, whatever. Like, I can't tell you that yet. I love the Tattoo Chef's bowls, but even else, they are private label, as you think. Okay. Again, I'm not too familiar with their private label. I like their business model. I work in the supermarkets when I was younger. It's very difficult to get in there, and I have an automatic for the major train. Nice. Yeah. If you have not an in with the supermarkets, but if you understand it, like, I could definitely understand, like, if you go down the grocery store aisles, like, it's literally like, it's a thing like Elon Musk always says. He's like, when's the last time you've seen a new candy bar being invented? You haven't, because the big guys own all of it. And there's like 3 or 4 companies that own all the candy bars and all the candies in the world. So, and trying to get a new candy bar into the stores and getting into the consumer's hands is nearly impossible. So, I think within food and stuff like that, I can't imagine the amount of red tape, just the amount of just scrutiny and just like pirate stuff you have to go through to really get into the shelves there. So I give a nice little salute to Tattoo Chef to be able to get into Costco, especially one of the larger stores in the US. Anywho, Stitch Fix. Yes, I love me my Stitch Fix. I don't own the stock, but I get their boxes every month. With this being said, they just knocked it out of the park with this quarter and really has had a huge deviation move. I'm kind of going to be on the chart standpoint. This really looks a lot like a Snap. If you're not familiar with Snapchat, it's kind of the same thing. It was just kind of like a bouncing around kind of stock, slightly trending higher, but then really took off. Like, you have an alert. You had an alert over here to buy here at $20, but I never got down to that level because I'm an idiot. Anywho, with that being said, hitting a high at $71, really just ripping higher here. My only concern is like, yes, could it go higher? It always can go higher. Can it go lower? Yes, it can. But I don't know that's going to be happening. Is definitely looking for a potential next overhead resistance at $78. But with the oh, sorry, I did that wrong. With that here on the high level on the RSI being oversold, that's a little concerning to me. And we switch over to the weekly side. We just hit the oversold here as well. That doesn't mean it's going to come crashing down. It's going to be kind of like, maybe take a little bit of profits on the table, maybe get ready to sell some short-dated calls against it, your position, all kinds of different things you can look out for depending on what your trading style is. But this is definitely a very high-flying stock there. I think it was Josh who pushed this. But just be very careful with this one. What's up, Alpaca? How you doing, my friend? Can we look at PSTH? Oh, yes, this is the Pershing Square with my friend, the Silver Fox, aka, oh my gosh, just forgot his name. Oh my gosh, Bill Ackman. Again, not all SPACs are created equal, and not all SPACs are made to go flying high. This is not the case, I believe, for this one. I think a lot of people are just kind of sitting on their hands. It is a very difficult thing. So once you create a SPAC, I think you have 2 years or 18 months to come up with a deal. Again, I'm not a lawyer. Don't quote me on that. That being said, it's been around for, I don't know, a couple months. It's only been 3 months out of that time frame, so we're talking a small percentage. They've said multiple times that they're looking for a company that is a high growth company that's ready to go public, that's in a very fast, aggressive kind of Silicon Valley kind of company. A lot of people are throwing around Square. People are talking about Robinhood, all these other kind of like we have no idea what it's going to be unless you're inside the outlook or the email chain between Bill and the investors. You have no idea. With that being said, this is the same kind of scenario we just talked about with the last SPAC. Is like you just really have to trust the people who are riding the ship. You're basically just going to get on board the Titanic, or you're going to get on board the XYZ, the other 1,000 boats that crossed the Atlantic Ocean during that time frame that made it and didn't crash to an iceberg and killing thousands of people, or whatever. But that one notion, that one boat gets the notoriety of the amazing crash. But there's, again, it's like an airline company. Like you have that one crash, you're done for. Like you had millions of successful flights, but it's just that one time that wheel came loose because Jimadiah didn't use the proper socket wrench to attach the wheel on his first day on the job. So things happen sometimes, statistically speaking. So with this being said, I'm a fan of Bill. I would like to have a cup of coffee with him. Like, this is the kind of the analysis that I look at it. Yes, he's had some flippy floppies and the stuff in the past, but I think he's going to be picking a very strong company. So I put a couple shekels behind this one as well. I know I've been talking a lot too much today. I apologize. I've been kind of just bouncing around this for a while. Nvidia, yeah. So Nvidia, Facebook, and other stock like Microsoft, they've all been trading in this tight range. Just kind of, I know GTFO has been talking about this as well on Friday. Was it Friday or Thursday? Losing the track of my days. But it kind of like the sideways action. It does have a squeeze set in place. The volume's kind of blah. It's just kind of been doing nothing between like that 542 to basically like the 525. Just kind of been bouncing around, just kind of like just ping-ponging in this little range here. What that means to me means that there's just a kind of a rubber band method where you just take a bunch of rubber bands and just tie them up until they get some kind of a break of kinetic energy, a big burst of energy, and really ripping it higher or lower. So this is something you just kind of have to kind of keep an eye on, unless you just are like, I just want to throw some cash into this, Ken, and I just think it's going to go higher. Like for me, I really need to see it above 542 and really see some significant volume come in to really see it at that level. And then to the downside, if it starts breaking below 514, and we're getting some negative notions from the squeeze firing short, and we start seeing the volume zone oscillator below zero, we could see some negative pressure, potentially hitting to $500 and not really hitting to that $600, which we would like to see. Again, I'm more of a long trader than I'm a short trader, so. Alpaca says CT, what is this? XXF. What is this? This looks really a little strange to me, Alpaca. Again, it's it's a penny stock, first of all, so it's not really my cup of tea. I think you know that. But this is definitely, this is just too much bouncing around for this one. Initially looking some support here at 30 cents, but I can't really comment on it. This is just too much action going on there. Alpaca says MMEDF. Yes. How's that? That one, Alpaca is the one who brought this to my attention. Did I buy it? No, I didn't. But this thing is looking still pretty good, honestly, Alpaca. with a initial support on the short-dated side, basically around $3.30. It does hold above that level that is potentially consolidating here and kind of waiting for the longer-dated moving averages to kind of catch up here and potentially see it kick higher here. Is basically definitely something to look out for to really kick higher, because again, it is in the what is it? Alpaca something like not the medicinal marijuana, the what was it? The psychoactives for like PTSD and things like that. There's some notable people that are invested in it, and it's definitely been a very high-flying stock in the last coming weeks, because you've seen it just been riding up that 5 and 8 moving averages multiple times here. Again, it's holding that 5 and 8 moving average. The only thing is that it did break down with some selling here the past week, but it did not break below that 8 EMA here on the daily side. So that is still showing some pretty good support there. Someone says Alibaba. So this one is, again, I made a video on this one a couple days ago, I believe. I called it a double bottom here, basically around that 252 to like the 253 range. If this sets in place, it could be potentially going higher. But the only thing is I'm a little bit afraid of here is seeing that falling 21 EMA here, and it has not been able to get above that. So as long as that 21 EMA, the yellow line continues to oh, they passed an FDA trial, Alpaca? Nice. That's awesome. So again, the 21 EMA is kind of my gauge on the trend. It has been falling here lower. You can kind of see the 20 EMA is still kind of going down at an angle here, and just hasn't had the information to really go that move to get any kind of a movement to go higher here. So yeah. Someone says BITW. BITW. What is this? What is this? I've never heard of this one, Bates. What is this? This is fantastic looking chart. What is it? A Bitwise 10 crypto index FD. What I have no idea what this is. I have to write this on the list. What is it? I'm really confused on what this is. I know that crypto stuff's going crazy, but this is a crazy looking chart. Yeah, I gotta look into that one. I can't really comment on this one. Again, it's only been trading for like less than 2 weeks here, basically. Initial support here around the parabolic SAR dots around $60, but I have no idea what this is, so I have to be very careful about this one. But wow, that's a crazy looking chart. Someone says RH. I love me some RH. Whew, this thing. Crazy quarter earnings, whatever reason, sold off here. Hit that 2134, that the overall trend kind of bounced here pretty heavily. The 5 and 8 moving averages never cut through here, and really just never got that movement higher. We are seeing the 5 and 8 potentially going higher here. And next initial level to try to break out is going to be these parabolic SAR dots. So basically around the 485 to around that 473 could be potentially some overhead resistance going up there. So be very mindful of that. Then short data support's really going to be coming in around that 34 EMA, which is going to be around $429 to be precise. GTFO says PS5 and selling in at 120. Dan, what's up, my friend? Hey, Ken. So the Congress passed the stimulus check, so I'll have $600 to YOLO. What do you suggest? Honestly, I've been so disconnected this weekend from stocks and everything. I haven't been really reading too much. I know that just was passed. I know a couple folks within the Discord were pinging about it, but I haven't really read into it and exactly what was happening. I thought it was going to be going more towards the medical side of things. So giving everyone $600 again. Interesting. Rama says, can we look at NNDM? Yes. Whew. NNDM. I wish I owned this, but this is definitely an Israeli 3D printing company that actually is supposed to be doing like a very high level of their printers and what they're able to print out, and they're having contracts with, I believe, like NASA. I think if I remember right. Don't quote me on that. But this stock has been coming up quite a bit here on the live streams and just in the Discord and emails. It's been holding that 21 EMA like a charm here. It's coming down to touch it a couple times, but the next breakout is going to be if we get above that $7.50, we can easily see it potentially run up to $8. Short-term supports are really going to be coming in around that's 614 to 605, around that range there. Doggy, DOGE. I don't know. That one's not coming up, our friend Adam. Oh shoot! Sorry, I just went through. Let's see. Someone says FDX. It's FedEx, right? So they just had a quarter miss here. And overall, this has happened before. So where was that? Was it UPS that missed, or was it FedEx? Yeah, it was. Okay, they did miss. Okay, yeah. We are seeing the starting stages of the 5 and 8 potentially crossing to the 21 EMA, so I have to be very careful on that front there. Initial support is going to be around the $273.93. Again, it did fall nearly 6% in one day again after the quarter. We do have a squeeze in place. Look at that crazy amount of volume. We've seen this multiple times before. So basically each quarter we have seen these huge volume spike ups. With the last 2 quarters minus this one, it was positive and was moving higher here. Again, I don't know from the standpoint of what happened or what went wrong. Maybe they're not able to fill capacity. I believe that's what I was reading, that they weren't able to fill capacity for the ongoing season, for the holiday season. Like they're like, hey, we literally hired like 3 times the staff, but we're still not able to get all those boxes out. Because again, I've seen my FedEx drivers rent like a U-Haul truck and just taking boxes out from that. Like, God bless them. That's a rough job to have right now. I'm sure, 100% sure of that. But going to the chart, initial support around 273. If it does break here, we're going to be looking for some consolidation potentially around 270 to 265. Again, be very mindful and kind of keeping that 21 EMA here on check there. Someone says NIO. That's in the Neo. This one is it's trying. It's trying to kick out here. It is in a particular pattern here, as the folks call it on the street, a breakout pattern, kind of a cup here. Really built a pretty somewhat of a stable base here on the 34 EMA. Kind of see it. I have my alert here at 42.75. Kind of built a base in that range there, kind of holding that 34 EMA here. We did get the confirmation parabolic SER switch because we did break above it here on Friday. Kind of gave some of it back initially here, but we are looking for an uptrend because we are seeing the 5 and 8 cross over. Whatever you think about the company, whatever, the chart looks okay at the moment. It is, again, it was beaten up for whatever reasons. It had a huge run higher. Basically, this was like a $2 stock a couple months ago, and now it's trading at 57, or now it's at 46. But it got all the way to that level. So initially looking for, if it does want to break out, it can potentially, if it's getting above that $48 to $50 level, we could potentially see that momentum kick back in. A lot of people, I think, do have this on their watch list, and seeing that multiple positive days, we could create some FOMO and create some momentum from that perspective. Someone says, oh, Doggy Coin and Ripple. Okay, I don't follow all those cryptos. I'm sorry. Someone says QS. Yes, I love me some QS. So that thing has just taken off like a bat out of hell. With this one, again, kind of like a no-namer. No one really cared about it. Then everyone hit it on Google, and they found out that Bill Gates' name was on the company or was invested in it, and they just kind of took, I don't know. But the whole EV stuff has really just taken off. This has been holding that 5 and 8 moving averages very aggressively as well here. Again, looking for potentially kind of a curving or a cup here pattern, and really seeing it break above that $80 to potentially break higher. I think initially, I'm a little bit more longer term investor in this stock. I think it can easily hit potentially $100. I just don't know when, but it can easily come back down to 50. So that's the thing you have to be very careful about with these very fast moving stocks here, and really seeing it here. Kind of look out there. What do you think Tesla's going to be tomorrow? I think Tesla's going to be pretty positive, but again, anything can happen. Beat says KMX, CarMax. Interesting. Okay. Earnings Tuesday morning. Okay. So not the biggest fan of playing earnings, but kind of a choppy pattern here. If you really wanted to play it, I would buy like 10 or 15% of the shares that you want. But I don't know, man. We have some initial support basically here around the 50-day, which is around $93, and then some stronger support around 89. What's the expected move for the week here? They're saying $6.60. Let's just call it $7. So we closed at 98. Okay. So potentially the really level to really see it potentially break out is around 103, and then downside support is going to be potentially around that 92 to around $89 level. So that's going to be potentially looking at here a little bit more careful on the sense of again, earnings play, not really my cup of tea. Can really just be a coin flip either way, depending how earnings turns out. Carl, thank you for the $1.99. It says QCOM and PayX. I must have missed your first answer. QCOM is Qualcomm, which I like here. I actually bought some on the dip here a little bit. Came back lower than I thought. It still held at 34 EMA here. Really kind of staying it above that 144 range, potentially seeing it print above 150 and get some momentum going there for the QCOM. But if it starts breaking below 141, I kind of have to cut it there. But some really interesting targets would be looking above 150 to 156 initially for some first targets, and really seeing it above 160 to 165 for some targets after that. And then you're saying PayX, they have earnings this week, right? There's a yeah, they have earnings this week. I remember seeing this one come up on a list. So 23, this thing has definitely been running here. I'm always skeptical to see things run going into earnings. I'm a little bit more skeptical on that side. I'm just kind of being very mindful of that. Again, I don't trade into earnings because earnings is a complete coin flip. So anything can happen. The CEO can say something wrong, and the analyst can give it a sell rating, and then your mother's grandmother is going to be going out and selling all her shares. Whatever reasons, it's just going to be too much emotionally tied to that, and just really too much of an unknown risk. But if the earnings wasn't there, and this was just a nice looking chart, I would say this could potentially be trending higher to potentially test and break 101 to the upside. Downside support is going to be coming around that $91 to $90 range there. Thank you for the $1.99, my friend. Let's see here. Oh, another donation. My gosh, thank you guys. RK says thoughts on FUBO. Let's see here. FUBO. This is okay. This is the one I missed. Like, I apologize. This is the one. So many people were like, Ken, you need to buy this. This stock's gonna go blasting off. I'm like, I didn't know it. I don't understand sports. They were talking about like this is like a streaming service for like football or soccer, I believe. And it just that's just like, I think they were telling me to buy it up in here when it was like $17, $19. But again, if I don't understand it, I don't have a story behind it, it's just hard for me to follow it. And it was on my watch list, and I saw it like just a couple days ago, like just print higher. I'm like, round of applause for all those folks that were buying into this. God bless you guys. I hope everyone did well. That being said, looking at the chart right now, we are seeing it really print higher here. Very high level on the RSI reading on the daily side and the volumes on oscillator at $40. If this wants to continue to run, we're going to be looking for some initial resistance coming in around $44. But that being said, that doesn't mean that it's going to come failing there or it needs to get to that level. But this is definitely something that is very interesting to see and plays out with a large move here that has to have some kind of contract or something kind of connected to this to really have this move higher. Initially, some short-term support is going to be really kind of coming into the 5 or 8 EMAs here on the daily charts and really kind of seeing that really play out from there. OKE, someone says. I saw. Sorry, chat's kind of going by really fast. Okay, I'm not sure what this does. Is this some kind of bank or something, or kind of a property thing here? This is definitely a very beaten down stock. Must have been heavily tied to some kind of like tourism or some kind of banking or something. That doesn't make too much sense here. Why I had this chart here. Kind of had its overall resistance here on $47 to $50. Kind of looking to kind of, I won't say it's selling off, really consolidating here. Maybe waiting for the 21 to 34 kind of catch up. Oh, it's a gas company. Okay, that makes sense. Really potentially kind of seeing this potentially maybe come down to the $38 to $39 level. Maybe just kind of consolidate there a little bit and then get a nice little kick higher there. Johnny Bravo, what's up, my friend? Yeah, I know, that's crazy. 220 people. You normally have like 50 people here. You have a question? Yeah, I would like to see your wizardry on CORR with Bob, if you could. Yeah, let's look at CORR. Yeah. Initially, Johnny, because I know you know my analysis, this doesn't look too shabby. I'm sure there's a day trade or some kind of short swing trade in here, but this is just a beaten down stock, my friend. Am I chosen the right one? You said CORR. Okay, yeah. Initially, this could potentially hit that $7 range and bounce here. It looks like the 21 EMA has been some support going forth a couple times here, but this is going to be very mindful of being careful on this chart. Again, really risking a risk to reward ratio here is not the greatest here. Again, if you're doing some day trading, maybe, but this chart doesn't look too shabby there. So I apologize for that, my friend, on that analysis. Jason, we did Alibaba already, my friend. Let's see here. Oh, Justin Cash, thank you for the $5. Very nice. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What about MVIS? MVIS. Wow. MicroVisions Incorporated. What in the world is this? That is... Well, really, I could tell you that breakout zone was around basically $2.82. That being said, this is a very large move higher here already. Initially looking again, this was a penny stock just a couple months ago. With that being said, We are seeing a very high band on the RSI here on the daily side, being at the overbought level, and at the same time, the volumes on oscillator are very, both of them are very extreme levels, indicating some consolidation, maybe some selling, things like that. Again, I'm not sure what this company does, but initially here, even on the weekly side, wow, it's very interesting there. Yeah, this is just definitely a completely breakout chart here. Honestly, this is the best way to put it. And with these breakout charts, as long as it stays above that 5 and 8 moving averages, so on the short dated side, this can come all the way down to 4, and that trend will still be intact. So that's something to really look out for there. Very interesting there as well. But yeah, $4 is going to be the next short-term downside support. Some stronger support is going to be coming around that $3.20 to $3.19 there. Plato, what's up, my friend? I don't know if you talked about it, Ken. Can we look at still SE? Yes, we have not looked at SE. Let's look at SE. Yeah, SE Unlimited. So, wow, what a chart here. Like, we should have put in all our money in it at $35 and just let it ride up, right? But wow, this chart is just a really good example of just holding the trend between the 34 and 21 EMA and just continue to grind higher their play. Honestly, with that really nice capitulation here. And this really, again, we just saw it bounce off the 21 here, bounce off the 21 there, kind of bounce off the 50-day kind of here multiple times. That was due to just, again, a lot of selling and really the scariness, I think, about reopening the economy and so forth. But this thing just looks fantastic. Like, it's really hard to do fibs on it because it really hasn't got a significant pullback. We can do some short dated fibs, but I don't think it's going to be worthwhile. You're really the best scenarios is really holding it if you're in it, as long as it kind of holds that 21 to 34 and is building a nice little trend continuous higher there. So that's a very beautiful looking chart there. Troy says SNRY. Solar Energy Company. Wow. Okay. We'll try I can't really trade this because a penny stock. It's not even a penny. Like, it's less than a penny, micro of a penny. But this trend looks up. Yeah, I bought 10,000 shares at 0.000006. And then I had a stop order at 0.000007. I haven't seen Litecoin. Again, guys, I haven't traded the crypto since literally February of 2018. All right. I was pretty heavy in it in all of 2017, and then really got out of it around the Christmas time of 2017 and then into 2018. John says, watch free. What's free? Oops. Whole Earth Brands. What is this? Is this a SPAC? This looks like a SPAC play here, right? This is interesting. What does this company do? Free? This is like an environmental company or something? Interesting chart. Really got beat down. This is always interesting to see a SPAC. They must have announced really quick on what kind of company they're buying and just really just sold off here and really didn't do much of anything. But now we're seeing it nice pullback here. Let's see what the news band says. They're buying wholesome sweeteners for 180 million. Okay. I'm not too familiar with this kind of stuff, but that's a nice looking chart. It really broke above that $11 range. Short-term support is going to be basically kind of coming into where it broke out. So just be very mindful there. We did NNDM. So NNDM, if it holds above like that 605 to 615, it can definitely, that trend continues to go higher or just kind of trade sideways. And if it does break above 750, we could see that run to potentially test $8. Greg B, what's up, my friend? LUV, any love for it? I love it. LUV is, of course, LUV is Southwest Airlines, right? Yeah, Southwest Airlines, ticker symbol LUV, love. With the economy opening back up, everyone's getting more and more money. As long as it stays above $44 on the short-term side, this trend is still kind of consolidating, going higher here, potentially trying to test 50. Because again, that $44.85 to the $44, this range is kind of coming into a key fib at the 618 and the parabolic SAR dot. So that's the reason why I'm kind of hinting and giving out that level there to really see that limit. I'm going to put an alert there, that at and below level at that range to see if that breaks here. But again, potentially looking for $50 there above. Flippin' Chart says, will you give your thoughts on DYMD? Not seeing it. DYMD. Not seeing that one. Or HKIT. I'm not sure what charts you're pulling from, Flippin'. Again, I do US charts. I'm just make sure I'm on the same page there. Christopher says, hey, Ken, can you please check out QS also? Do the lithium battery stocks? Yeah. So yeah, QS, Christopher, we did cover, which is again a fantastic looking chart, I believe. The thing is this can easily come down to 50 or go to 100. Like, it's really just in that weird capitulation mode. Because if it does break down, it could really just kind of break down and really hurt a lot of people and step on their fingers or their toes. With that being said, what a breakdown means is potentially breaking below the 8 EMA here and potentially running to the 21 EMA here and seeing how it plays out there. But we are kind of building kind of a cup here. Again, kind of a somewhat of a stronger base around the 8 EMA here, which is in the short-term support around $64-ish. But if that doesn't hold, we can again coming out of that 21 EMA. But initially levels, if this continues, that momentum really carries us higher. If we just get some volume coming in here, who knows, $100 could be coming quicker than I think. All right here, folks. I see Riot copped up. Let me do Riot real fast. So of course Riot's going to be completely linked to the Bitcoin prices. If this continues going higher, which again we are seeing Bitcoin nearly up 5%, that 5 and 8 moving averages here on Riot can continue, and we could potentially see 11.25. Some short-dated downside support is going to be around $8.66 to $7.65. Black saying ADMA. This is I don't know this company. Very much of a downtrend here. This looks like some kind of a pharmaceutical stock, so I'm a little bit more skeptical on that. Again, it's going to be very tied to announcements or any kind of news or anything out of positive information going forth, and really see this potentially break out here. Key levels to look at is kind of really seeing it trying to break above $2.65, really isolating, looking here, any kind of movement to break above that 200 EMA from that level there. Someone says Vale. Yeah, Vale. What a lovely chart this one has had. Really just went gangbusters from like that $12 range all the way up to 17. This is looking like it wants to potentially touch 18 here. Again, I have leaps on this thing, and this is definitely something to look out for, and really see this can really test that level. Again, this has been a very fast, heavy momentum stock here because it's been holding literally the 5 EMA, but it's starting to show signs of hitting the 8 EMA. So we could be kind of slowing down that projection. When you shoot up a rocket, you kind of get that little bit of slope with gravity kind of pulling back down on it. Short-term support is going to be coming around 1674 with some stronger support around 1560, but we're looking to potentially touch 18. Amor says IPOC. Yeah, I have a couple hundred shares in that just because I love Chamath Palihapitiya. Okay, sorry, my folks here. Flippin' Chart says, sorry, man, I can't type on my phone right now. Hey, I can't type on anything, so no problem. You said DMYD. Wow. Okay. This is like, it's another SPAC, eh? This is, I don't know, I just sounded Canadian, eh? Really looking, yeah, this is again a very heavy SPAC driven stock. Gapped up on this. Looks like this is when the announcement came out, because you're seeing that really heavy volume kind of lift up here. But again, it's been holding that 5 and 8 moving averages, and with these SPACs and how they move, momentum is key in these stocks. If it does continue to hold that 5 and 8 on the way up, short-term support has got to stay and close above 1353, and really going to be potentially bouncing if it does close below that around 1240-ish here on the chart there. But yeah, I'm not too familiar with what company this is, but this is, again, any kind of SPACs, especially right now, is just really going to be momentum driven there. Why did IPOC pop on Friday? I have no idea why. Probably because Chamath Palihapitiya is adding more money into it. Someone might know they're doing an announcement. It could be because IPOB is closing, and they're going to be ticker symbol open door starting this week. Who knows? I have no idea why. If I knew it, I would tell you, but it's a lot of speculations. Scratching my head the reason why. It just went up because there was people wanted to buy it. Did you cover net yet? We have not covered net. That's actually one that has been coming up on quite a few of my scans here. This thing is looking like if it stays at this level here, we can potentially see it break above 85 and really potentially test $100 here. So I'm actually going to put this on my list for this week here. That's a good call there, my friend. Seeing how this one potentially, if it breaks above that 85 to potentially the 86, we could see this one run and really just take off here to potentially test $100. Plato says, smash that like button, people. Kiss Christmas spirit. Appreciate that, my friend. INO. Oh, sorry, I missed something. Oh, shoot. Oh, my God. Earl G, I don't know what you said, but your message got restricted from YouTube. What did you say now? Someone said INO. I saw something like that. Okay. INO, this is not NIO. This is the pharmaceutical company that's developing a vaccine or some kind of antibodies. This one, these pharmaceutical companies are so difficult because, again, you're just really waiting on trials and news, and you got to really just be really do your due diligence to understand the business on us behind these. With this here, the chart is looking for some initial support around maybe $9.75 to the downside, but anything can happen with these kind of pharmaceutical stocks and really just kind of bleed lower here. So not really too much to add there. To the upside, we really need to see a break above 1250 to potentially 1375 to really get any kind of movement here. We did TTCF as well, so a lot of more people have joined TTCF. That is the Tattooed Chef. I think Alan is the one who donated a nice $5 again for a cup of coffee for me, and was highlighting that Tattooed Chef was potentially breaking out here, which I agreed on looking at this level. As long as it stays above the $21.43 range, we are seeing that 5 and 8 moving average continue to grind higher here. Huge amount of volume coming in, so that's always a good sign for a very heavy momentum play. That being said, we have some initial overhead suppression here around the $24.60 range. RVLV. Revlon, wow. Whoa, very nice. I know people have posted this as well. Wow, that's a spicy meatball. Yeah, looking for the initial support here around $31.96. Let's call it 32. If that really breaks in this momentum and everything kind of continues, we can see it really hit $38.75. So yeah, this isn't a crazy looking stock here. Gabriel goes on, I'm holding shares of Big C. Yeah, what the heck? Big C has really been one that's been smacked around, hasn't it? Yeah, that's a... Yeah, what happened there? Like, what's the story on this one? I'm not too familiar on this one, but the chart is, yeah, maybe some initial support around $66 to $68. But we are seeing kind of just kind of a, not a slow bleed, but it's just kind of been beaten down. It's kind of like a dog with his tail between his legs, just not really doing anything and just kind of just being in trouble and putting time out here. But that being said, if this gets any kind of movement going higher, the potential breakout range would be around 83 to potentially run to $91 and start seeing it go from there. But again, we're seeing somewhat of a floor support here around that, again, that $88 to $70 range, but just this one could potentially break lower or higher. Again, this is going to be a little bit more difficult because, again, it's a newer stock. It's only had 2 quarters on the market here, potentially looking for $63.77 to keep in mind, because that is the low of the chart for since its existence. Let's see here. Let's see here. Flippin' Chart says, thanks for the great content you put out. Thank you, my friend. You didn't have to do that. I appreciate that. Thanks for getting me a coffee. That's what I spend all my money on, is coffee. I appreciate that. Let's see. The Revlon Group, again, yeah, that was the one that a lot of people were talking about. If I don't understand it, it's hard for me to put money behind it. Like, yeah. We did Fisker, Sam, already, my friend. Kind of just bouncing around, I believe, that $17 or $15 range. Just be very mindful and be careful on this one. Let's see here. Okay. Someone's saying GLSI. GLSI. Wow. Okay. This is the cancer one, right? This is the one that got halted. Yeah. This is the cancer one for the breast cancer, right? Yeah, this is insane. Basically going from $3 to $148, like insane. It doesn't have options on it, but wow. Wow. So looking at the chart now, it's going to be very difficult because again, this has a lot of momentum behind this. And it traded a lot of shares that day on the 9th of December. Wow, I still can't believe that. But initially, some support coming in around $30. If it does hit that level as well, coming down to initially to $25 to $30 for some initial support. That being said, it is a pharmaceutical company, and you have to be very careful because, as you can see here, it can go from $3 to $160 and come right back down to $30. Like, it's all tied to trials data. Like, if I remember right, if I read some of the details on this, was that this trial has been going on for 5 years. So as you can look at the chart here, this thing has been doing next to nothing for quite some time here. So it's actually somewhat of a newer stock, but it has not had that much activity on it because, again, unless you knew something about it, but that's just a crazy opportunity that some folks were able to get on that chart. But wow. Again, more says FCell. FCell. Yeah, that thing was a mover as well. Talking about a mover here. With that large move, the kind of the mid-November kind of time frame and early December, kind of start consolidating here around $8.39. The next breakout is going to be basically here at $9.70 here. We do have the falling parabolic SAR dots to be mindful about to potentially see that hit that level here and maybe bounce off here. So we've hit that $9.71 range a couple times and not really being able to close above that level. So what we mean by closing above that level is, if you look at the candlesticks, they never actually closed above it. They went through it intraday, but they didn't actually stay above it for the close on the daily or any of the time frames here. This stock, again, on the weekly side was trading at $26, which again is interesting because, again, if you're looking on the fib chart, we're seeing some $22, $23-ish potential targets. With that being said, this has been a very high flying stock, so there's going to be a lot of momentum, a lot of day traders, a lot of FOMO on this stock. So be very mindful of that. Again, you're going to be getting some very heavy swings through and up and down. So just be very mindful of that if you're going to be trading this stock. And by that, I really mean by keeping it on a short leash. USO, I really don't trade USO anymore. Someone says snow. Yeah, we can cover snow. So snow, and looking for some initial support around 319 to around that 324, 225. Maybe if this kind of consolidates to this level, we can potentially get a nice kick higher above that 358. But if we don't, and we get that 5 and 8 continues to kind of drop lower and not really straighten out here and cut through the 21 EMA, we're going to be looking for some targets around 300 to 295. GHIV is definitely something I'm just holding. I'm just holding some shares. Like, I'm just waiting for them to kind of see how that plays out. Since they're kind of doing like the Rocket Mortgage thing. Speaking of Rocket Mortgage, what are your thoughts on the momentum of RSH of last week? I feel like they had the price to keep down. Yeah, honestly, I want it to go higher as well, but this just has not been. It's still in that capitulation mode. It's just not really just kind of bouncing around. Again, this stock, it looks somewhat similar to the chart of Big C here, and it has not really had a huge breakout early on, but then just didn't do anything, and it just kind of been consolidating here, just kind of perusing around, doing next to nothing here, just kind of taking its grand old time here. Looking for some initial short-dated support here around the 21 to 21.13 range. but with some stronger support coming in around that $20-ish range to the downside there. QSIQ. What is that? That sounds familiar. Sorry, CSIQ. Oh yeah, okay. This is an interesting stock. Yeah, I remember seeing this one. If this breaks above 44.50, we can potentially see a breakout here. Which again, it really did try to break out. It did close higher, making it an all-time high for the chart for the year. You can see here the all high for Friday was 46.72. If that wants to continue and this momentum really wants to drive higher and we stay above 44.50, 47, and really the target around $51 is in key. Some short dated support is going to be around $42 and then $40 to the downside there. Matt, do I like you? I love me some you. So this one I kind of missed out on here. I'm just selling some premium on it by selling puts on it. This thing is initially a beautiful looking chart here, just kind of looking for it to hold the 21 EMA, maybe ride it up, maybe get bounced around a little bit, but I really believe in this more of a longer term investment I'm trying to get into and really see this potentially continue to grind higher here, even though it's a newer IPO and I think a lot of people are not really aggressively looking at it yet, but this thing is definitely something that is kind of a no pun intended, a game changer, because with Unity, they're not just using it for video games anymore, they're really using it for movies, and especially with movie casts being shut down and not being able to shoot large productions, Unity is able to come in and really take some of that brunt of the work off of those movie producers stuff. So I think it's going to be a pretty interesting opportunity going there. Let's do a couple more. I'm getting a little bit of time. Just hold shares. Whoa, JPMorgan. Interesting talking about banks and JPMorgan. So JPMorgan stock, bank company, don't really know how they make money. They just kind of take it from one bank and move it around and slosh it around and just continue to kind of play around with it. Initially looking for the 116 to 117 to be some initial support to the downside. If that doesn't hold, we're going to be looking for kind of coming into the 50-day, which is around 111 to 110. But with the huge stimulus package we're talking about and a lot of relief going through, we could potentially see that movement higher and bounce off that 118 to 120 level and really see that 127 kind of come into play here. It looks like, yeah, I just saw play was pointed out XLF. Again, that's the Spider ETF for the financials. And this has definitely been really tight consolidation mode around 28 with that movement potentially looking to test $31 to the upside, making all-time highs, and then even coming down some short-dated support around the 27.75 range. So that basically kind of covers all the banks in that sense there. Flipping star says CSPG. Oh, sorry, GP. Interesting chart. Wow. Okay. Looking for a really tight kind of pattern here, really trying to break above 900 here, but not really seeing much of anything kind of going through here. Which again, this is not sure what this company does, but wow, like $900 really needs to be cleared to really see this potentially go higher here. But yeah, some strong support around $813 to the downside. Let's see. Someone says DQ. Yes, DQ. Good poll. So this is again a very strong stock that came out last week. Had a squeeze here, really ripped higher here and breaking out here. Really, the target for breakout was around $47 to $48 range, and seeing it rip higher, really potentially going here with this really exhausted candle here, with around that $65 range target. Short-term support's going to be coming in around that $52 to $54 range, with some stronger support basically coming back down to the breakout range, which is around $47 to $48. Yeah, there's going to be definitely a lot moving tomorrow. Like, so right now we're seeing kind of more blah, like S&P 500's down only 8 points, Nasdaq's up 30, the RUT still kind of selling off, not selling off, it's only down 12, so. But Microsoft, Omar, I like Microsoft. I don't know what's going on with the stock, honestly. I think it's a great overall package of everything. I know that they're coming out and just telling Intel they're potentially going to be have the availability and production to create their own processor, and Intel wasn't really happy with that. Of course, that's why you saw Intel stock drop. With that being said, with that movement here, we do have a squeeze in place, a lot of volume coming in here. I would really like to see this potentially try to break above $225, with some initial support kind of coming in here around the $214 to $215 there. Jeff, MRMA. ARA. This stock has definitely taken off as well. This has come up quite a bit just last week's pings and chats. Initially looking here for a short-term support around $7.63. That doesn't mean that it has to bounce or stay in there, with some longer support kind of coming around $6.16-ish cents, around 21 EMA here. But if we do get a bounce here on the 8 EMA here on the short-term side on the daily chart, we could get somewhat of a V-shaped recovery and really see it print higher to a potentially $11. It seems to be the stocks that sell widely used products that have been crazy gross. Chewy, Rock, Foods. Yeah, that is very true. That's a good observation there, Alexander. Ken, what are your thoughts on NIO calls $38 for 115? I like it that it's in the money, but it's a little bit short dated for me. For NIO, I would, if you want to be a little more for my cup of tea, I would maybe check out February. That's just my cup of tea. But if you know something that I don't know, I'm glad that you're doing it in the money, though. That's important. I like that. NNDM, we did multiple times already. So NNDM, long as it stays above $6-ish, I think it was like 616, I believe. Long as it stays above that level, we get the breakout range is around 750. We get 750 or above, $8 can easily be tested. So NNDM definitely could potentially run if we get a lot more buy volume into that stock. Walgreens, yeah, it's trying to break out, but if you look here on the daily chart here for Walgreens, it is having issues trying to get above that 200 EMA and really close above that. Dean says ARC-G. Yes, ARC-G. I love me some ARC. I love me some Kathy. Interesting looking chart, though, for ARC-G here. Really tight consolidation here around the 5 and 8 moving averages here. And again, this doesn't mean this is an ETF, so it's traded by, I think they usually have 30 to 40 different stocks in their ETF. So this is definitely really much just waiting here, potentially looking for a new breakout. Short-term support, it's going to be basically around the short-term support, it's going to be around 93, with some more stronger support coming around $88. So be mindful of that. very interesting going forth there. But initial targets is really see it potentially get above $100 there. Alrighty then, let's see here. Okay. Hey Ken, your channel's up 30% size sub. Thank you. You brought me good luck, my friend. Matt, we did Tattoo Chef and we did do FUBO as also. RCL. So yeah, we haven't done the cruise lines, but they're all kind of in the same boat, no pun intended. Really, again, it's all about the vaccine, all about the going forth and how the economy is going to reopen. Like, again, I didn't go through the whole stimulus bill or how many pages, probably like 900 pages plus on who's going to get money. I'm sure that if the airlines are getting money, the cruise lines are going to get money, like healthcare is going to get money, like everyone's getting money. If everyone's getting $600 again, and so forth like that. But definitely have to see how it plays out. We're going to be looking for some initial support here on Royal Caribbean, which is around $70, kind of coming where the 50-day and 200 EMA kind of lie there. Drew, one of the funniest guys I walk is on stocks. I appreciate that, man. I really do. You have no idea. Johnny, what's up, my friend? Just got here. Thoughts on SPY? Yeah, so we're not doing much of anything right now with the ETF or with the futures right now. Kind of doing next to nothing. SPY, we've been knocking at this door here around 371 for a little bit here. By a little bit meaning like the last week and a half here. Kind of bouncing off that level here, kind of coming back a little bit. Now potentially wanted to break out, then we didn't break out, and now we're just kind of bouncing around here. Really going to see how Monday and this week kind of plays out with completely understanding of like, hey, usually this week has low volume due to the fact of Christmas Eve, and those kind of holidays really going down in the market. Usually people are not looking at their screens, they're looking at family members and things like that. So be very mindful of that as well. But with the SPY, we're looking for 371 and closing above that to really see this potentially create some all-time highs going forth. No more Mr. Nice Guy. We did Alibaba. We have some short-term support around 250, I believe. But that 21 EMA here on the daily chart has been continuously kind of keeping it down. What do I think about gold and silver, Drew? I always buy a little bit of it just to say that I have some gold and silver and I can be cool on the bench there. But I do own a little bit of silver. I did buy a little bit. It's been an interesting trade. It's not usually my favorite. I'm not the greatest at it. Understanding gold and silver markets here. Bought it here basically around the $22-ish to $23 level. Kind of moved here a little bit higher to $23.92 with some really looking at to really see a break above $24.74 and really seeing how it could potentially break out at that level to potentially 25. But again, some really strong support coming around that $23 range if it does kind of consolidate there. Exactly. What's up, Trevor? Definitely, yes. A lot of people getting that stimulus, and those unemployment folks are going to be refunding their Wall Street Bets accounts, their Robinhood accounts. So get ready for all those penny stocks to be flying off the rails. MGNUS, I have no comment on that. I think there's a little bit. How did their earnings go? I know they had earnings. Yeah, I don't know what happened here. Maybe they didn't have earnings. Thought it had earnings coming up, but initial support kind of coming down to $1.50 there. What's up, David? What are your thoughts on Tesla for tomorrow? A coin flip. Like it's literally a coin flip for me. Like I have no idea what Tesla could do. Again, I would like it to go higher. If we look here on the chart here, just I'm still more flabbergasted on that move that we saw on Friday. I made the video or in the AM saying like, hey, the real volume's going to be coming between three to four the last hour of trading. I had no idea that it was going to be moving like this. Like this is absolutely insane on how this plays out. That being said, do I think it could hit $700 tomorrow? Yes, I think it could hit 700. I could see it go down to 650, and I wouldn't blink an eye. Like it's Tesla, so there is going to be a little bit of really crazy moves within Tesla as well. And I think you know that honestly too, David. With that coming down to basically 641, and we'll still be fine. But like, look at that long candlestick. We went all the way up from 627 to 628 to all the way up to near $700. Like we're just bouncing around like we just don't care. Like we were trading nearly 10% in a day. So again, it was like not once in a lifetime opportunity, but something that I haven't seen really in my trading experiences, where something such as a high flyer like Tesla gets added into the S&P 500. I remember it happening to Apple, but it wasn't like anything as crazy as I recall as Tesla, honestly, because I think people a little bit more, I don't know, what's the word? Strong belief around Tesla. Like you're part of the cool kids or you're not. So Ricky is asking about Costco. Yeah, what is? I thought I had an alert on this one. Uh-oh. I don't know how that didn't break. Yeah, so this is looking like it wants to continue going lower, honestly, Ricky. Because we do have the 5 and 8 coming through here. It did close below the 50, did close below this Fibonacci retracement. So the next level of support I really have is around 365, but this could potentially run to 360 down there. Thank you, Christopher, for stopping by, my friend, and thank you for the ongoing support, and good night and sweet dreams. What's my favorite recent Netflix shows and movies? I don't watch a lot of Netflix. I just love watching The Mandalorian on the Disney Plus. Sadly, that is over for now. They just aired the last episode. Trevor's Netflix. Yeah, let's take a look at Netflix. I haven't looked at that one for a minute. Interesting chart here. Really trying to break above 530 here. If it stays above 530, because it does have earnings coming out. It looks like the second and a half week into the next year, so we could get an earnings run starting here soon here, potentially running up to 550, which again we've seen twice really kind of fail here. Let's call it 3 times, really not really getting above that level and really seeing some high movement going into that stock there, and really looking for, again, 550 is going to be that level. We're going to be looking for some initial overhead resistance. But the overall trend looks pretty strong, because we have the 5 and 8 continuous to grind us higher. We haven't touched the 8 EMA in nearly a week here, so that's going to be a very aggressive movement that we're seeing out of Netflix here. So something's going up there. Someone's got some cards up their sleeve, but yeah. Penn says, so you look at Penn, that's Penn Gaming, right? Penn Natural Gaming. Yeah, this one is definitely one that, again, you can see above $100 is going to be really heavily tied to the economy opening up, really with sports. Again, this is a huge component of sports betting, I believe, and really seeing this potentially test $100 to that 110-ish range. But that being said, it has run quite a bit here. This would be somewhat normal to potentially maybe consolidate this level, kind of wait for the longer dated moving averages and kind of see where it plays out from there. Ken, do you have game and If so, do you play? Do you game? I do game. What games I played Cyberpunk for maybe 3 hours, and then I was having I have a pretty beastie computer. It just didn't do well. And then I like talked to support and looked at some ticketed stuff, and they're saying that you shouldn't have any programs. If you do have programs in the back, you should run in window mode. I said I can't do that. I trade stocks, my friend, so. I just kind of got rid of that game pretty fast. Junior, Tesla does have Beskar armor. This is the way. That is so beautiful. That is so. I love it. I have to steal that idea. That is a beautiful. They have Beskar armor. They just take it. They just keep on rolling, right? They can't stop, won't stop. Let's see here. Let's do a couple more. Looks like Adam's asking for UDN. Bearish ETF. I don't know. Oh, okay. What is this? DBUSDLDR index bearish. So this is these get me confused, honestly, Adam. So this is a bearish ETF against the dollar. At least what it sounds like to me if I read this trend wants to go higher. It looks very interesting. Yeah, Fish, I looked at silver just earlier. It looks like silver wants to potentially try to break above 25, but anything can happen and it can just change in a heartbeat. We have some stronger support around that 23-ish to 2250 range. I don't show my gains and losses channel on my channel just because I don't want to, I don't know, I don't want to, I was like show off, but I just want to I more or less, I don't do this to try to sell you something or try to show you how good I am at this. Like, I make a crap ton of mistakes. Like, I make a lot of mistakes. Don't get me wrong. Like, I fat finger things. I forget to do things. I forget the roll options. Like, I make a lot of mistakes. But I minimize them as much as possible. And I've been fortunate enough that I've been doing fairly well with that. And my mistakes don't outweigh my successes. That makes sense. And I don't consider myself a guru at all, my friend. I'm just a guy just trying to share his passion with other people that like to trade and talk stocks. MM saying BBY and Albert. We did NIO. NIO is in a really interesting range. We have some support around $42 to $43. But if we really see it move higher, and we see it above 48 to 50, we can really see that that sucker run without a doubt. BBY. That's Best Buy, right? Yeah, whoa, I think as we talked about this last time, this thing really kind of sold off here. With that 144 EMA, we are starting to see the 5 and 8 moving averages potentially start stopping and curling here. But in the short term, we're going to be looking for some support around 100, kind of where that 200 EMA kind of lies there on that little teal blue kind of chart there. So looking for that initial support there to kind of stop the bleeding. Tony, yeah, Big C's been beaten down. I don't know why. I don't understand why, but it's definitely something to look out for. Could it reverse? Without a doubt. Can it go back down to $20 or go to $20? Yes, but I think the business model that it's in. The only question is that it falls into the Chinese jurisdiction, though, if I'm correct. Earl G says thoughts on NLOK, Norton Life Lock Incorporated. Really nothing to write home about this one. This has kind of been like a steady Eddie here, and it's kind of came somewhat of a comeback here, and really looking for potentially to break above 21.85 to potentially break to 22. But yeah, looking here on a longer dated chart, yeah, just kind of like a nice steady Eddie collecting a nice little dividend here. And then NVDA. Yeah, Nvidia hasn't done much of anything here, even though we've seen substantial news on AMD, on Intel, because Intel, Microsoft's talking about they might not be using Intel processors anymore on their devices, on their servers for Azure. But yeah, this is definitely something to look out for. With Nvidia, which has been bouncing around here on some key ranges here, basically not really breaking above 542 to around that $515 range, is kind of just bouncing around in that kind of segment there as well. Guys, on that note, I've been streaming for almost 2 hours here. I really do appreciate everyone coming out. I really, really do. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll be trying to streaming sometime this week again. This week's going to be a little bit more difficult due to holiday things, closures of the market, I believe, on Friday and short day on Thursday. So just be mindful of that. It's going to be a shorter week in trading, so get ready for that, and potentially seeing some interesting price action coming out tomorrow due to the stimulus package, due to the Tesla being added to the S&P 500. Again, anything can happen in the market. Just please don't get scared and just sell, buy, or do anything on a panic, because that usually doesn't end up helping you or anyone, especially in the market. That being said, looks like Bitcoin is continue to rocket higher, well above 5.5% now. I'm looking for some targets potentially hitting 26,000 there. Looks like with the S&P 500 somewhat flat here still. Gold's coming up here a little bit pretty nice here. We have the NASDAQ, it's just up nearly 40 points, and then we have the RUT down 0.5% here, with some initial support here around the 1943-ish range. I kind of see how that one plays. I want to put an alert there. So that trend has been very, very heavy here on that 21 EMA here. The 5 and 8 EMA here, just really continue to grind higher here for the RUT here. So that's a very beautiful move here. Would be somewhat normal to kind of get some consolidation, maybe even a small pullback here. Guys, thank you for the wonderful comments. Thank you everyone who donated as well. I really do appreciate that. That means a lot here. And Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. Have a great time. Be safe out there. Again, this is Ken from the Dyslexic Investor, and from my heart to all yours, thank you so much again for the ongoing support, everyone out there. Again, the Discord, the Patreon members, and the YouTube members, I really do appreciate it. Thank you for the wonderful and nice comments. I really do appreciate it. I've said appreciate it maybe 13 times now, so it's time for me to go. That means I am extremely tired. So peace. Catch you guys on the flip side.